There you go, Luke Bryan. I don't want this night to end. That's what I say when I go to sleep and not want to have to get up quite so early. You say, I don't want this night to end. But
I certainly wasn't looking at it that way.
Sarah Nahmias, did you have a different perspective of that?
Well, I was thinking more, I don't want this night to end. Not from a sleep standpoint, but it makes perfect sense now. Sorry, spring is in the air. I can't help myself. The birds are flitting, the flowers are foofing, and happy spring.
No kidding. And then we'll get cold again.
Shh. This is just the colder end of the spectrum. We're not going to say it's cold because that sounds brutal. And I don't know about everybody else. I'm over it. Are you over?
It's nice to see that sun.
Oh,
and if you're inside,
man.
sometimes it's pretty deceiving because then you go out and it's like, ooh.
Yeah. I mean, you throw on a sweatshirt and you go outside and go, that's not enough, fool. But I can't help it because I'm so eager for real live spring. We got daffodils blooming at our house.
Do you really?
Yeah, and I would have cut some today, but it was too cold.
Yeah. Will they make it okay?
Oh, they'll be absolutely fine. They're right now they're kind of, you could say bowing their heads, but I say hiding their faces. And as soon as it warms up a little bit, the sun dries them off a little bit, they'll perk right back up.
Okay.
Now I do have one variety called Cheerfulness, and it is an older variety, and it has the weakest neck of any daffodil I've ever known. Like I've known them.
And it's called Cheerfulness?
I know, and because it's early, and it has a very happy little face. It has kind of white petals in the background, and its little crown is a pale yellow, and it just looks like, when you were a kid and you drew a cartoon sunshine and it have a little face.
Yeah.
and then it had the petals, pointers poking out. That's kind of what this flower looks like, and it's really, really cute when it first comes up, but then after you get a rain or some cold, its little necks bend, and it's like, okay, But all you do is just cut the stem shorter and put it in a little more compact jar or vase or something.
So when you cut them,
Yes.
how long do they tend to last when you've put them in
Okay, here's
water?
the key for daffodils. Clean water every day.
Okay.
Number 1, do not put them with any other kind of cut flower. They are not friendly, and they exude, what's the technical term? Juice from their stem that will harm other flowers. They are not friendly.
Even the Cheerfulness one, is it?
No. It has a dark side.
Wow.
But daffodils with daffodils, which is the whole narcissus family, they're fine. But if you put them with friends, they're cute, but they won't last as long, and they won't let the other guys last as long. So if you cut them fresh and have them in water immediately, God love my sweet husband, he went out and cut some for me this week because I couldn't quite bend over having had body invasion.
Uh-huh.
And so he was blessedly dutiful and generous with his time and efforts. And then he said, you can probably trim those and arrange them. And so I went in a couple hours later. He hadn't put any water in the jar. I said, well, in the future, probably put water in the jar. Oh, yeah.
Did you just forget or
Forgot.
think to?
No, I forgot. So what I had to do is trim fresh ends and put them in the water, and they're okay, But, and they'll normally, if it's not real hot in your house, they'll last at least a week.
Okay.
I mean, if they're fresh. Now, if they've been blooming in your yard for a few days and then you cut them, you're going to get 5 days maybe. But if they're just emerging from their buds, you can easily get more than a week, probably up to 10 days. But you got to do fresh water, and probably after 2 or 3 days, a fresh cut on the stem, because their tendency is to heal that over, and then they quit pulling up water. So then you'll start to see their little faces droop. But they are fun, and they have happy faces, and I love them. I never get tired of them. And, you know, they're coming on. They were very late emerging this year because of the cold. And no, this cold weather will not hurt them. Not at all. They'll nod their little faces down and pout, but they will perk up.
Don't we all?
Yeah, that's just like people. You're
It is.
exactly right.
Yeah.
And, you know, we all can't wait, but it's still just a little soon to do very much out in the garden. So don't be in a hurry to clean up. I know how painful it is. If you're really eager, go pick up some sticks. I don't know about the rest of you. I think Sweet Paul went out and picked up sticks for 2.5 days last week and thought, I did a pretty good job. I got a stack here ready for when the grandsons come and we can make a bonfire. You know, we're ready. And then the storm blew through, and you never knew he picked up anything because it's all that many more again. But we just call that good spring exercise. So 1, 2, pick them up, lay them straight, whatever.
Oh, I was trying to think of how that went. 1, 2, buckle my shoe.
Yes, 3,
3,
4,
4,
shut the door.
5,
6, pick up sticks. 7, 8, lay them straight. He did not lay them straight. He piled them. And speaking of which, if you're just going to pile them, find a little back corner of your property, pile the sticks, and leave them. It makes a great cover for little birds and friends to have their little nests and their little hiding places from the neighbor's cat, and they'll all live happily ever after.
Huh.
But don't go to burn that pile after you've left it for them to make a nest, because then you could do real harm. So you don't want to smoke your bird friends. Would not be good. And, you know, last year we had the wild animal hunt of the great raccoon hunt. And knock on wood, we seem to have a pretty controlled situation so far. But we have Mr. Mink this year, and he's flaunting. He has not eaten my fish, which is very fortunate. I had a very good friend, shout out to Kevin, whose crew came and really tightly netted our pond this year, because for 3 Decembers in a row, Mr. Mink had a party one night when we were gone and had fish dinner and took them all 3 years in a row. So this year we're going to foil this guy. So we did foil him. He didn't get to have fish, but now he lives right across the creek. You can see his little hole, and you see him come and go. He's beautiful, black, shiny. But then he kind of, if I'm outside, he'll stare at me.
Are you able to get any pictures?
No, he's fast. He's very fast. I will continue to pursue, but he's very fast, and he's kind of a smart aleck. Like, I know you're going to take that net off pretty soon. I know you're going to take that net off. Then I'm going to get him. So it's going to be a stare down with the mink versus the fish and the fish owner this year. So stay tuned. It'll be an adventure.
Are you going to take the net off?
Oh, yeah, I have to. Because we got to, you know, it's to catch the leaves so you don't foul the water. And then you have to do a little spring cleaning. So that's going to happen the first part of April. And
you might not want to give the details, because in case...
Oh, he could be listening.
You don't know.
Well, it is a popular station, and everybody that's anybody listens to WTRE. Am I not right?
Even the minks.
Even the minks, either those wearing a mink or being a mink. But it's going to be a clever challenge, but I think by the time we uncover it, the dog will be outside most of the time. And if we can keep her from just focusing on squirrels, then I think we have a chance.
So you think that the dog could thwart the
think
efforts of the
her
mink?
scent and her erratic motion might. I'm not sure that if she had to survive on hunting skills, she'd have never made it this long. I'll guarantee you. She loves to play. But
The dog or the mink?
the dog.
Okay.
But getting down to it, no. She just let me be. She's kind of like those cartoons, like squirrel, go.
Yeah,
Off she goes. Yep.
Me too.
Can't focus. Yeah.
Me too.
So anyway, okay, we got some things to tell you about. First of all, if you call in and talk to us today, giving away some pansies.
Oh.
But you can't just sit there like a bump in a log or call Deanna and say, ask her this. You got to be brave in case we got questions for you.
Well, they can call us too.
Well, yes.
They might have a question for you.
That's right. And we could call it Stump Sarah. It won't take much today. But
Stump, Sarah.
Stump.
Is that because the outside's
Yeah,
stump?
yeah, because there's stumps in my yard. And they're rotting, and they're providing wonderful environment. And the best thing is, some of these stumps are from, we just were talking about last night,
You have a call.
oh my goodness. Be still my heart. Thanks for calling, WTRE. What's your question?
I have tulips that came up really sick. Do they need to be thinned out?
Oh, Reggie, I bet they're gorgeous. What
They are,
color?
and they're the ones I got several years ago when they gave away.
Wonderful. If they're happy and they're blooming, I probably would be inclined to not thin them. As you might be aware, many tulips do not linger after several years in Indiana because they don't like the hot summers. If they get so crowded that the bloom is less, it's either smaller or less in number, then it'd probably be time to lift them and split them.
Okay, after they bloom.
Yeah, but I do it while most people say you do it in the fall. I think it's too hard to find them. So
Yes.
I do it when the bloom is done, and you know the leaves so you know where they are. Just make sure that whoever's digging your hole, that they dig it much deeper than they think it's going to be, because those tulips are going to be down probably at least 8 inches, because as they grow and root and grow and root, they kind of keep pulling themselves more securely into the soil. And I would just say once or twice my shovel didn't go far enough and might have done some harm.
Okay.
Good to talk to you, Reggie.
Thanks. Good talking
Is
to
she
you.
on the list for some pansies?
She is on the
Like a
list.
giveaway?
Absolutely.
All right.
Thank you.
You bet.
Bye,
All
Reggie.
right. So I do want to tell you about a class. I promised Sabrina at the extension office I would mention this. They are doing a very cool class starting April 8th and then the 15th and the 22nd. So that's 3 Tuesdays in a row from 6:30 to 8:30 at night. And it's $30 a person. And it's all about everything you want to know about having a home vegetable garden. I think it's going to be awesome. I think we're lucky in this community, especially for people who have wanted to try or tried and didn't have great success. These are the good basics, how to get started. And of course, these are going to be Purdue experts that are weighing in and teaching you the real facts and not highfalutin rumors and old wives' tales. These are real facts. They'll talk about pest and insect management and common disease management so that you can have successful veggies, and it'll all be done in plenty of time for you to still prepare your bed and get them growing toward the middle or end of May. So perfect timing. It's $30 a person. You can go to the county extension and there's a link, or you can go to https://event.me/M, M Y7X0. It'll take you right to it. You can sign up, and they do have a limited number because of space. So register before the 28th of March. And I suppose if you're intimidated by all those dots, dashes, backsplashes, slashes, and everything, I bet they'd take your call at the county extension.
My guess would be they would.
Because those are the best people out there. They help me out all the time.
That sounds like a good course.
I think it sounds great, and I think if I can convince him, I think old Paul and old Sarah might take that just to have a nice refresher. We try faithfully every year to grow vegetables in the shade, which is not really a successful venture, but we have a good time trying. And I think a little pest management, disease management refresher would be very valuable.
Now, you do all your tomatoes in buckets,
We do
don't
buckets,
you?
although Paul the last 3 years has done straw bale gardening. So we may try to entice. I can't ask him over the radio today because he's on spring break with his grandkids. But I have a neighbor that's the straw bale expert in Indiana. And I may try to lure him to come talk about that next month because I think people would find it real interesting. He does it extremely successfully and has learned through the pitfalls. And the advantages are, you prime these straw bales with a fertilizer mix and a lot of moisture. And as they start to break down, then you plant directly into the straw bales. So the advantage is they are raised so Bunny Rabbit and his friends don't come and eat your tomatoes. Raccoon and his friends don't have quite as easy access. And then all you have to do throughout the year is consistent watering. And he has a drip system with a timer set up so he's not slave to it. And then as the straw bales break down, that creates the nutrition for the plant, and you don't have the pest problems. The yield is phenomenal. It's magic. Absolute incredible magic. And they grow a few other things in the straw bales as well. He's got a spinach, a Malabar spinach that's a vine that's incredible. And he does a few herbs and stuff, but it is just amazing. So we may have to guest him in here and quiz him about that because it's a fun way to do it. It's not hard. Pretty cheap and easy to just get a couple of straw bales, put them in a sunny spot that you have access with water, and you're good to go. So, but yes, I have done buckets for quite some time, and I like buckets for the same reason, because you don't have the pest thing that you do with soil. We had problems with nematodes and some other things that when they're in the soil, if you don't have a big enough area that you're rotating a crop, then you would have the tendency to have some recurring challenges that aren't worth it. So anyway, I don't know what our approach. We may do a combination competition this year. I think we should do that and do a compare and contrast. Because the advantage of buckets is you can move them where the sun is.
Right.
The disadvantage is at the end of the summer, you got to water a lot more because you have a confined space to the roots. So you might have to water twice a day.
If it's in a bucket.
If you have a very big vine, that would not be unusual because they really fill that bucket with their roots. And
So what if you plant in a wagon? Then you can just pull it around.
as long
wherever
as,
you
there you
take
go.
it.
You know what? Buckets in a wagon is even more brilliant. Boy, you got something. Because then I can actually hook the wagon to the mower and let it do the lugging. And, when the big trees finally do their cover about June, I can move it up toward the front where there's more sun. And then when the neighbors try to come and take my tomatoes, I can pull it back down the driveway.
There you go.
I got it. You're brilliant, Sandy. You're absolutely brilliant. That is too much fun. So anyway, take your class and get smart. The other thing I need to mention, and I'm going to a meeting this afternoon, are you aware that there is an effort amongst us to have a community garden?
Yes.
So there's a meeting this afternoon at 1 or 12, and then briefly, if there are any volunteers that would like to come out, it's over at the sheriff and I call it the Old Washington School, Court Services, Public Health Department. They're off Ireland Street, and they're going to do a mat cover, and that will suffocate and break down the grass in the area. And then that should be ready to plant in about between 6 and 8 weeks, which is going to be perfect timing. So anybody that wants to have hands-on, there'll be other opportunities in the future. But I'm kind of excited. I've only attended one meeting. It's real fun. You have these young, very vigorous, excited people, and then you have an old geezer. So I was grateful to be the geezer. And but as I understand it, this is a coordinated effort by an intern named Esther Parr, and she won't be there for a long, long time, but she's got the ball rolling, and they got a network of some wonderful people who each have, some have applied for grants, and some are doing the website and blah, 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 social media. And the effort will be primarily to provide fresh vegetables to Bread of Life, but there also will be some other distribution opportunity. So you want to learn about it, you want to participate in it, you maybe get paid in a tomato or two toward the middle of the summer. It could be a real benefit. So keep watch for that. There'll be more news coming. Fun stuff going on in our community, that's for sure. So hats off to them. And let's see what else we got to do or not do. Wait for your cleanup. But if you're desperate to play in the dirt, and I am this time of year, as soon as the little spring ephemerals start breaking in the woods, it's almost like a rash. I'm itching to get out there and play. And I know in my head I need to wait, but my heart says, gotta play. So, good old Polly is going to get 3 pots ready for me today and help me clean them out, and we'll stir in some fresh potting soil mix and a little granular fertilizer so that I can plant spinach and lettuce and peas, because it's time you can do that. And when I do them in pots rather than the ground, of course the soil's gonna be warmer, so they're gonna hip hoppy doodle a lot sooner, and this is the time of year anyway. But again, Mr. Bunny and his friends will not have an opportunity to nibble those fresh little starts. And then they're pretty much done by the time I want to put flowers in them for the summer. So it's a win-win.
Wow.
So there you go. And I'll get my satisfaction of getting seeds in, and they'll pop up in about 9 or 10 days. And
So you're doing lettuce,
spinach,
and peas.
and peas. All the they're called cold weather crops. You could probably start cabbage, and any in what's called the cole family, so cabbage, broccoli, that sort of thing.
Huh.
So those are all.
And so when should they be up?
They will emerge in about 9 or 10 days. They'll be harvestable. Excuse me. Probably like tender lettuce would be harvestable in 5 to 6 weeks from now. The real harvest will be early in May, before it's really time to plant the rest of the veggies. So then they're kind of, once it gets real hot, they kind of are done.
So how big a pot are you putting this in, and how much?
24-inch pot.
24
So
inch.
it's one of my flower pots
Okay.
that I will have summer flowers in near my garage. And so in that size pot, probably can do about a half packet of seed, because you sprinkle them. Now there are a couple of ways you can. Lettuce seed particularly is so tiny. I mean, it looks like dust. It's smaller than a tick. I mean,
Okay.
It's tiny. So some people will mix it or just barely sprinkle it, and then you take a finger sprinkling of potting soil to top it.
Right.
Because you don't want them too deep. And you just tamp it in. You make sure that it gets regular water. And I recommend all those sticks that you got to pick up after the storm last week. I do vertical sticks in the pot, and it looks atrocious, but it keeps the squirrels from digging and any birds from routing around in there looking for something to eat. Because when you loosen up that soil, all the critters think, oh, there must be something good in there. So it's just like if I plant pansies in a flower pot and I forget to put sticks in, then Mr. Squirrel will come and literally pull a plant out thinking, well, there must be a nut under there. Well, he's nuts, but he's messed up my plant. So I use sticks, and that makes him mad, and he leaves me alone. So once the plants get fairly sizable, like when they're about, 3 inches tall, you can take the sticks out. He won't bother them anymore then. But if the aesthetics are such that the sticks bother you, otherwise they'll just grow around it. But it's a cheap and easy way to do it. I mean, they make all kinds of netting and covers and all that stuff. But if you're just doing a small area, like a couple of pots, and of course these are not real deep-rooted plants, so you don't have to have a great big deep pot. You could do them in probably a 12 or 14-inch pot with success, like on your porch or on your patio if you got good sun. And if I like them where I come and go, because then I see them every day, and that reminds me to not forget to water them and to enjoy them. So there you go. Little fun, quick trick if you just kind of have to do something right now. Right now.
And they're okay out in the cold.
They don't mind. They're used to it. The old almanac used to always say to plant your peas and that sort of thing by the Ides of March. Well, that was last week. So,
Okay.
and people that plant them out in their garden soil probably plant them later, but that soil's colder, and they're going to do rows and rows. That's kind of a different ball game. But you want it quick and easy. It's a fun way to enjoy it.
So how much of a yield do you get out of that?
most of it doesn't come inside. I eat it when I'm outside in the garden. Particularly the peas. I just
So
break
you're
them.
growing snacks. Is that what you're saying?
I'm growing snacks, yeah, but they're healthy snacks. And, peas right off the vine are real, real sweet. You get them when they're real young. I don't even let the peas get very big. It's more like pea pods. And just with a little bump. And they're as sweet as sugar. And so if they come inside, they get to go in a salad. And of course, the lettuce, you can throw it on a sandwich. You can throw it in your salad. And it's pretty fun. And they're different kinds. This time I'm trying a baby romaine. We'll see. I'll have to report. It's a new try for me. I've always done leaf lettuces. And they're fine, but they're a little limper. And I like that crispier crunch. And so these are supposed to be at maturity about 6, maybe 7 inches, rather than a normal romaine that would probably be 12 or more inches. So then I don't have to wait as long, but it'll have that crispier texture and oomph to it.
Okay.
So we'll report back and see how that goes.
I might have to try something.
Okay, go for it.
I don't know if I do I might do cabbage.
Yeah, I mean you can get cabbage starts now already. Some of the box stores have a few.
Cabbage starts?
Yeah, they just look like weeds when they start out. Or you can get seed. That's pretty easy.
I like the idea of a start. It sounds a little.
It's called a head start, and then you can walk out and go, haven't I done a good job?
Now, is that a pun on head?
Sure.
For cabbage, a head start.
I love it. Totally and completely. I'm going to give you full credit on that.
Oh. Okay.
You were ahead of me on that.
Oh.
And here we go down the rabbit hole.
There we go. Yeah.
And nobody else is calling. Reggie's going to get all the pansies.
812-663-8733.
That's all I can say. And not that I wouldn't want Reggie to have them all. Truth be told, she's one of my most favorite people in the world. There you go.
And that was interesting to say the tulips she was talking about was some she'd got
From one of your
giveaways.
Sales and giveaways.
Yeah.
That's even amazing. See, it pays to listen to WTRE.
There you go.
Always and forever. No doubt about it. So do we have to do a commercial? I'd get a keep yakking. Nobody wants to tell. I'll do a commercial. Let's see.
You're going to do a commercial?
Yeah, be kind. That's my commercial. Be kind and share your veggies this year. That's it.
You know what? Now you say that. Reggie should open a roadside stand because she could call it Reggie's Veggies.
Reggie's Veggies.
That works, doesn't it?
I'm telling you what's the hottest item whenever Reggie donates for the garden club.
What's that?
Her homemade jellies. They are to die for, and I'm not going to say that there could be a scramble that could do harm to people, but it's a mad dash who's going to get those homemade jellies.
Is that right?
They're unbelievable. And she does it all.
Well, she's always out picking. What is it she goes out and picks? Is it
Blackberries.
blackberries?
Yep.
Because she's often.
I think perhaps some of her family members have suggested that some of her outdoor adventures should be cautiously limited.
And she would listen?
Maybe. Just for the fact, if anybody doesn't know Reggie, she can outwork any of you that are listening to this radio station. Always has. I think I've known Reggie, it's got to be 30 years or more. She has always outworked, outsmarted me and many others forever. And she would be, let's just say, more than 20 years my senior.
There you go.
There you go.
Hats off to Reggie.
Well, it just proves if you're active in the garden, you'll live a long time and have a happy life.
Oh, there you go.
Prove me wrong. All righty. So, good time of year to start removing those invasive plants. They're the ones that are obnoxiously green already in the woods. I'm referring to the Amur honeysuckle, also known as Asian bush honeysuckle. It's overtaking. If you drive down, let's say down 46, going to Batesville, and you see all this green along the railroad, that's not pretty little bushes. Those are the bad guys, and they create monocultures, and the birds eat it, but it's not good nutrition, so it's a boo, boo, boo. And of course, the other one, I know you all love them. I don't disagree that they aren't pretty, but evil, 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 and you're probably seeing them bloom right now, and those are those Bradford and calorie payers. So if you'd like to know how to trim them, you take a chainsaw and you trim them right next to the ground, and repeat as necessary. So, and then I can give you a list of good things to plant in their stead. You need to think about safety. It's springtime. So if you're going to climb up on ladders, make sure that someone hasn't told you that it's time to restrict that in your life. Make sure your ladder is in a position that is safe. Do your stretching exercises so that you're not stretching and straining in error and end up tipping or falling off that ladder. Do your gentle exercises before you start using all those spring tools, because like most of us, you probably go out on that nice warm day that's going to pop up here in about 10 days, and you'll just go at it like crazy, and then the next day you won't be able to move. That's because you didn't do your warm-ups and kind of get in shape and ready. Check your tools, make sure they're clean and have good sharp edges, and if they need to be steel wooled or a little mineral oil so that they're not rusty. Check your gloves and all your hand protection, because they don't do you a lot of good when they have a lot of holes in them. And remember, if you're doing trimming or anything like that, wear your eye protection. So just warm up to gardening. Don't go crazy and end up regretting something, because then you can't have any fun. So there you go. What are you going to grow this year?
I don't think I've ever heard you give such safety advice.
Oh, I know. Well, some might have observed that with passing birthdays, foolishness seems to be on the rise.
Uh-huh.
And consequences are more profound when you make stupid mistakes.
Okay, so it's like, don't let this happen to you?
I'm just saying the potential exists. But in my peer group, I seem to hear reports of just a little more grumbling about, I used to always be able to fling up that 50-pound dirt. Is that a wake-up alarm?
No, that's for Deanna. Her phone.
I like that music. It's kind of music to dance by. Boop ba 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 da ba ba ba. If you had that music when you work in the garden, it wouldn't seem like work.
You're right. That's a good tone.
I think that's something to be mindful. Use your electronics, but maybe don't lay your phone in the dirt, because like a tool, you'll probably forget where it is.
That was Janet Badel.
Yes.
Janet Badel.
And she was wondering if anybody has found any mushrooms yet.
Mushrooms.
Ooh, it's probably still too cool. But if you check online, the hunt is on. But we have to have that warm, cool, warm. But I don't think so. Maybe Southwest Indiana, but I haven't read anything locally. And I have friends that will post their bragging pictures as soon as they have them. Of course, they won't tell you where they get them. Never.
Right.
Never. It's like lifelong family secret. You know, they're not going to tell you it's the 12th tree in from the left on the right side of the road, halfway down to the creek. Nope, they will not tell you that.
Yeah, my sister's son's a good mushroomer. Mm-hmm. I have to send her a text after a while to see if Dan's caught any yet or.
And everybody gets
found any
excited and thinks our woods is going to have them. Now we've had puff balls in the fall, but we don't
Puff
get.
balls? What's that?
It looks like a soccer ball.
Oh,
The
that
great
like
big
a.
round kind of mushroom.
Oh,
They're-
it is not.
Yeah, no, not morels. The only time I ever got a morel was I had one that grew in a pile of mulch that I'd ordered from somewhere, and I hadn't spread it yet. And here it was, and I was like, well, that was probably worth buying the mulch. Because I don't,
What'd you do with it?
fried it, ate it, enjoyed it. I don't even think I took a picture of it. I was so excited. That was pretty fun. But that's the only time we ever had one in my yard.
And it grew in a.
It just had sprung from the mulch, which tells me whatever had been chopped up had to be that right combination and had spores, whatever, and wherever the right kind of trees, the right kind of fungal
But how'd you know for sure
symbiosis.
that's what it was?
Because they're so unique in their look.
Okay.
I mean, morels they're like little gnome huts. They're just perfect. And they have their little gnarly indentations, and that's why they're so
No
cute.
mistaking, huh?
No mistaking. And of course, since it was my first, I did call my friend Jenny, and she confirmed, because she was a mushroom hunter from the time she was a kid, when she still lived here. So,
Huh.
when
Okay.
in doubt, call Jenny, because Jenny always knew. For sure.
Well, that's wild. Okay.
Yeah, it was wild. It's a wild mushroom.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I realized that I walked right into
What?
that
Yeah,
one.
and I thank you for it.
Yep.
Because it was delightful. Absolutely. Well, what can I say? I think Reggie's going to get the pansies.
Well, Janet Bailey.
And we could give Janet one. We can give each of them a
Oh.
3-pack.
Nice.
So,
That's
there you
good.
go. It pays to listen at WTRE.
Well, that means we'll be seeing Bob.
There you go. Is he the runner?
Always.
Always. Well, Janet's even smarter than I realized. There you go. Whatever to get him out there. Go. Here's your list of errands. Come back at 3.
Uh-oh. It's going to be Reggie calling you back. Or she might be trying to make arrangements.
Okay. Hi, Reggie.
Hi. Thank you for the kind words. Appreciate that.
Oh, you're welcome. You earned them all. There'll be pansies here for you.
Okay.
All righty. Deanna
My
will
daughter
take
picked them up.
Okay.
Deanna will take good care of them until your daughter can get here.
Okay, thank you.
Bye,
Bye-bye.
Reggie. There you go. Anything else, Sarah?
I can't think of a thing. I'll work on my neighbor to maybe talk straw bales.
Yes,
See
absolutely.
what kind of fun we could do next time.
Absolutely.
Oh, he's so smart. He could teach all these classes much better than me.
Well, that would be a cool class to take.
I think so. And he loves sharing what he's learned. So
And so when you talk about the strawberry bales, you're talking about the.
yeah, like you go out to bed your horses or whatever.
Because, see, I'm thinking of Kathy, whenever they do the field out here, because they do the big
They
rounds.
do
but
round
then-
bales. Well,
but-
the rectangular ones are easier to manage, so that'd be the way to go. And the field out here is hay, not straw.
Oh,
It's okay. We still love you.
okay. I'm going to hit the button.
Ta-ta.
Sarah Nahmias, another good hour. Tree Country, good morning, WTRE Greensburg.